Hi all! Everything in my video is pulled from the public domain, and I am using them under the Fair Use, Fair Dealings guidelines. Everything I say is my own opinion. You should look into this information for yourselves, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. All right, you guys, welcome back. This is video number 2. Now, this video is significantly longer than the first video, and then we have the third video, which is like a little special little something for you guys that I put together. This video is going to cover Megan's book that she's writing, a book that they just purchased, John Travolta, the Megan's hat incident, and finally, Finn is making an appearance. So let's just jump in and get there, shall we? Let's go. It appears Harry and Meghan, in a bid to rescue their Netflix series, they bought the rights to a movie based on a book called Meet Me at the Lake about, guess what? Childhood trauma, mental health, postnatal depression, a parent dying in a car crash. One-trick ponies, you guys. One-trick ponies, but wait, it gets better. So here's what happened. So Harry and Meghan spend millions of dollars to buy the rights to this book, which came out and ended up being a bestseller. So the book is called Meet Me at the Lake, okay? It's two people who make a romance in their 30s, just like Harry and Meghan. One of the characters loses a parent in a car crash as a child, just like Harry. It covers alcohol and drug abuse, just like Harry. It's based in Canada, just like Meghan. I mean, there's lots of raunchy, steamy sex scenes in it as well. And you're like, wait a minute, this is just, something's going on here. There's no way that this book is so close to Harry and Meghan. So what's really going on here? And what ended up coming out was that the woman who wrote the book, Carly Fortune, is a massive fan of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. So she basically wrote the book loosely on their life, which is why they turned around now and bought the rights to the book. They're going to try to turn it into a movie with Netflix. I'm like, you've got to be kidding. Like, one trick pony. That's all they can produce is stuff that's about them, their families, Diana. It's the same stuff. I mean, they cannot get off the train. You guys know what I'm saying? It's the exact same stuff over and over. But even worse, listen to this. We know that all these writers and all these people are on strike. And so essentially, Meghan crossed the picket line to make deals for one of the streaming giants that's one of the worst offenders of actors' rights. So now she's really upsetting people in Hollywood. Oh my God, like, really? Now, it'll be interesting to see who directs this. We know that they worked with Liz Garbus, who Meghan said was a, quote, seasoned director who I've long admired. But then they turned around and said, if anything doesn't go right in this 6-part docuseries, it's not our fault because it's not being told the way we want. So they immediately tried to blame any problems in that docuseries on Liz Garbus, just like they tried to blame the Spotify issues on Spotify. Just like Meghan said that the reason she couldn't fit in with the royal family was because they didn't give her enough support. You guys see an overriding theme here? Because, I do. I just cannot imagine that essentially since they crossed the picket line to cut a deal for Netflix, that anybody in Hollywood, when this strike is over, that anyone in Hollywood is going to want to work with them. It's like box office poison. So, of course, articles are coming out saying that, this new film could upset William because basically Harry is just mining his family for content. Yes, I think that would be upsetting. I mean, let's not forget, Diana was his mother also, something that Harry conveniently leaves out of the picture. At some point, somebody's got to say, enough, Harry. He is a 12-year-old boy who has never grown up. He's getting ready to turn 40. Okay, think about that. His mother died 28 years ago. His trauma was 28 years ago. He has been in therapy so much. If he's not past it by now, he's not going to be. Now, I agree with Rocco's mom. Good morning to everyone except two people who thinks it's easy to make a scripted drama by adapting a novel without any prior experience. I mean, seriously. And the people they need are on a picket line. which they crossed, I might add. News has come out that Meghan Markle is going to release her own book. And in the book, she's going to put in all of Harry's shortcomings, like the fact that she told him, remember, that she was having suicidal tendency when she was pregnant and he didn't tell anybody and he didn't call her mother or her doctors or take her to a hospital. He didn't do anything for her. And I'm sure, knowing Meghan Markle, when she's done writing this book, there's going to be a lot more shortcomings showing up. This is the part where she starts to defame him in preparation for a divorce. That would be my thought process. I would never have believed it, but once again, the news had something to say about this. Very important. Listen to this.
Now, apparently, it's reported this week that Meghan is contemplating a book. Apparently, she's going to unload on Harry's shortcomings. Now, she's made some pretty questionable decisions thus far, but how does anyone think this is a good idea?
Well, from what we've seen of the Sussexes, it seems that they're obsessed with telling their side and giving the public a view of things from their perspective so that, they're not judged unfairly, which kind of coincides with their obsession with basically what's written about them in the media, to the extent that they even, have this paranoia that everyone around them is leaking stories about them. But the reality is, the more that people learn about them, especially from their own mouths, the less people like them. Now, it's not surprising that Meghan is intending to write a book, allegedly, that includes details about Harry's shortcomings. I don't suspect that would be very good for their marriage. I can't imagine that a married couple would be very happy if either of their spouses, wrote a book that effectively displays all of their shortcomings and their problems to the rest of the world to see. But the Sussexes have always seemed to try and brand themselves as a couple that's keeping it real and telling the truth and telling their side. So it wouldn't be something that's surprising. I just think it's sad just to exploit themselves, their story, their background, their links to the royal family in this way.
Now, according to Lady C, Harry's finally realized who he married. And it's not the person he's living with is not the person he married. Maybe if he dated her longer, he might have realized that. Maybe he realized it when she apparently wanted the spare released. It's being reported and alleged. She wanted the book released 2 weeks before the king's coronation. Yep. All right, we got a blind item that says that when you sleep in separate beds in separate residences when you're married, but you're celebrating a life event of one of the couple, then divorce is right around the corner. Yep. All right, let's move on. You guys immediately came on board. All my subscribers, Travolta came out and distanced himself. He said it was just a one-time meeting. Multiple comments. And I love this one. Childish, Meghan and Harry call any and every person that looks in their direction a friend, like a little kid in preschool. Absolutely true. So what are we talking about? Well, as soon as all the information came out claiming that Meghan Markle and Prince Harry have become friends with John Travolta's PR team came out almost immediately and said that he only had one encounter with them, and that was at a book launch party. He said, yes, they were friendly, but that was it. So what actually did happen? Well, it seems that Penguin Random House had a release party for Harry's book back in January. And so they invited all these A-listers, people that Harry and Meghan don't know. They said, come on to the release party. So they had a short encounter one time, but nothing else. They said they got along well with him. He was very nice. That we know that, again, John Travolta had met the late Princess Diana years ago. He said it was one of the highlights of his life. But now the A-listers are pushing back. I mean, he had his PR company come out, wham, that's not true. The Beckhams, the Obamas, everybody is pushing back because they are really getting tired of having their names thrown in for clout with these two. Let me remind you guys that Gayle King and Janina Gavankar and all of these people who have stepped up to the plate in the past and have said that Harry and Meghan have kept their emails and texts. They can prove everything that they're saying. And yet, after all this time, none of them have been released. None of the text messages for the racism claims. As a matter of fact, the only thing they've released was a text exchange between Catherine and Meghan, where Catherine pointed out that Princess Charlotte's dress didn't fit well, and Meghan was like, well, the tailor's been waiting all day, take him over. That's it. That's the only thing. And by the way, let me also remind you that it was Meghan Markle who said in court that she didn't have all of these messages because her phone auto-deleted after 30 days. But if your phone auto-deletes after 30 days, how come she happens to have these receipts that nobody's ever seen? I mean, I'm just pointing out, did anybody else notice that? Gayle King said that she had receipts. All these other friends said she had receipts. And then suddenly you never see them and you never hear from them again. The only text messages we know for a fact exist are the ones between Harry and Thomas Markle that were brought up in court that were so bad they couldn't even be read out because Harry was so abusive to Thomas Markle as he was laying in a hospital bed after his heart attack. Yep. So yes, I do remember that time when all these people defended Harry and Meghan claiming they had receipts, and now you don't hear from them anymore. Yep. All right, this article just got me. It says Meghan bonded with the Queen over her confusion about royal protocol on her first engagement, okay? This is when they went to Chester for the day. They were to multiple engagements. They were, together. They took the royal train almost immediately, which is something that Catherine didn't get. And she didn't have a hat. So the Queen, it said, was baffled because she turned up without the hat, because she said she didn't realize she was supposed to wear one too. It's like, what? So a senior aide said, and I'm quoting right from the article, I don't think the Duchess fully understood this was not a request. Those are for others to make, not the Queen. And the Queen's staff noted the Duchess's mistake or, quote, lack of deference. So basically they told Meghan to wear a hat and Meghan refused, said she didn't want to wear a hat. So, of course, it came out. Meghan was upset that the Queen suggested next time she, make her hair a little more tidy, maybe wear a hat, which was protocol, which is what she'd been asked to do, and she had refused. And these pictures clearly show why she was asked. When you wear a hat, you pin your hair back, put the hat on your head, your hair doesn't blow in your face like this, and you present a more neat and clean appearance, which is what she was asked to do, and of course, Meghan refused. All right, moving on. Harry this week, we know, is going to head off to Tokyo and Singapore, and the idea behind this is that he might have the chance to, quote-unquote, turn the tide on the Sussex PR. Again, I don't see how this is going to help. Harry's going for a meeting about philanthropy, but the only money he gives away is money other people have donated. He knows nothing about philanthropy. And as far as the Centabali polo match goes, he arranged that there because that's where William is going to be later on. Jack Royston, even from, one of the biggest sugars I've told you, said that this is going to bring positive publicity Harry's way and highlight his pivotal role in fundraising. Yeah, I don't think so. All right, we're going to cover one more story, which is really a non-story, is that they're saying that Harry and Meghan want to extend an olive branch by offering to rent out part of Kensington Palace, like that would ever happen. All right, now let's move on to Finn. There was a storm. It was thundering. The rain was coming down. Finn scooched up next to me. I had to throw a blanket over him. So I was like, what is going on outside? So I looked outside and this is what happened. Wow. 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 Ooh, that's bad. Poor Finn was just melting down. So I just wanted you guys to know, though, he weathered the storm. I took a little video afterwards. Here you go. It was a bad storm, bad storm. Scared Finn. Oh my goodness. You okay? Are you better now that the thunder's passed? Are you better now? Oh, poor little guy. So you guys don't worry about Finn. He's okay. All is well in his world, as long as there's not a storm. All right, you guys, that was the end of video 2, and I really hope you like video 3. Let's go.